I was stuck in an airport. Well, let me explain. Hi, this is me. I live somewhere around this part of my country, and this is where my uni is, all the way to the other part. So recently my vacations ended and I was flying back, and one of the flight attendants looked very similar to Sonam Kapoor, so that was scary. But in between my flying, I had a layover of 3 hours and I had nothing to do. So I decided to take up the ongoing challenge followed by many game dev YouTubers of creating a horror game in 1 hour. So this is the idea. The game would be simple, but I would try to create the atmosphere of horror game like it is done in a horror film. By the way, please keep in mind the word try. I would try to achieve this by the use of audio, uncertainty, and triggering player anxiety, or by using some big words in my script. So here's the plan. In the game, you would control a first person player running around a dark maze. The only light source you have is a torch. To survive, you need to keep your torch running, and for that you need batteries. Batteries would be randomly generated anywhere in the dark maze. You need to find them and you need to recharge your torch with it. Failed in doing so will result in a jump scare. And here we start. I started by creating a first person player, and that would be probably the 90% code in my game. After that, I jumped straight into the level design. The level should feel like a maze, but also not be very confusing as there would be very little illumination available. So, I created random closely spaced pathways open at both the ends so it feels like a maze but is not really a maze. Also gave the player a torch, which is basically a point light which gives the player just enough space to watch their next step. This creates an element of uncertainty and anxiousness, which is an important part of any horror movie. Now to escalate things up more, I added the functionality of the battery. So you have a torch and torch runs with a battery. No battery, no torch. A battery is generated randomly anywhere in the maze and you need to find it to keep you and your torch alive. To assist you a bit, the displacement between you and the battery is shown that helps you with the general direction of the spawn without revealing the exact position. And there is a certain time limit in which you have to pick the battery. The time limit is not known to the player or shown using any UI. The only thing the player knows is that it's running out. This uncertainty of time builds up the tension, which is released finally when you run out of time and you guessed it right, jump scare. And then the game ends and you lose. There is no win condition, you can only survive, you can't win. This is not about my game. After completing the main mechanism of the game, I jumped into the audio part. To start with, I added a background ambient horror audio to give it a creepy vibe. Following it, I added a panting audio sound to increase the creepy feel. To create the anxiety, I also tried to create a weird kind of effect in which the reddish color would blink in front of your screen, like the time when you are in low health in Call of Duty, which looks something like this. Finally, I downloaded the jump scare scream sound and animated the final jump scare sequence when you lose, followed by the end screen, and this is what the whole thing looks like. Now it was getting closer to my boarding time, so I wrapped things up, added the final polish and post processing, and this is finally the horror game that I made in 1 hour. The link of the game is in the description. You can try it out on itch.io if you want. Also, credits to Polymars, I guess, for starting this challenge. Finally, I also took another challenge of creating a game in 10 minutes. The video would be on the screen. Click on it to watch this. Till then, goodbye.